exactly. Maybe we'll ask you then to introduce yourself, so because we don't want to make a faux pas with your names, okay?
Thank you to Arto and Enterprise for hosting this. My name is Gael. I'm living in Pembroke, South Dock, which is this area here, independently. I was a member of Young Fine Gael for 2 years in Trinity, and I do have a lot of respect for many different parties that it's not heading the way I'd like it to be at the moment. So, simply put, in my area, we have the core business, the business district of Dublin in my area, and I'm very keen that people who live in my area benefit from that, but also use their position professionally and otherwise to benefit the whole city and really drive economic recovery.
Nadine Meisonnave, I'm also a candidate in this area, Pembroke South Dock. I'm a member of Fine Gael. I'm 28. I'm a businesswoman. I have estate agents on Battle Street, and I have 2 small kids, so...
You're busy.
Hello, my name is Marcin Czechowicz. I'm also a candidate from Pembroke South, from this area. And first time in running for the election. I'm living 10 years in Ireland, in Poland. And I've been working in lots of different projects for Polish community over those years. For example, for job seekers, we did the workshops that took place actually in this house a few years ago. Then I was also involved in I'm still involved in the Polish newspaper online, irlandia.eu, where I'm trying to inform as many people as possible about every events and so on. And yeah, I decided to run for the elections. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rafał Kornatka. I'm running for elections in North Inner City. I've been living in Ireland 9 years. 2 years ago I became an Irish citizen. I graduated here, and this year I decided that I want to give back to the community, and I want to do this through representing my local community in Dublin City Council. Thank you.
My name is Lech Szczeciński. I'm running in 3 constituencies here in Ireland. Yes, I tried to check whether it's possible to run and to win. So I focus on just on foreigners mainly. I can't say because I run in constituencies where I don't live, because I live in constituency where Agnieszka is running. But well, I don't know what to say. So I'm not so much involved in local communities, but I had a big experience just here in the Polish House, because I'm a member of Polish Social and Cultural Center for over 8 years. I was a member of management here for 2 years. As well a member of Irish Police Society, and as a volunteer I worked and cooperated with Polish Library. That's it for me.
Hello, my name is Agnieszka. I'm a candidate, independent candidate for Dublin City Council from Bali, Mudro, Kona, Whitehall, Botanic, Glasnevin, if you live there. So you know that you can choose 20 candidates, and I am one of them. So I'm a social activist. I'm not a politician at all. I'm what can I say? I'm a person who is involved in community. I cooperate with Volunteer Cultural Group and the Badic Organization for People with Disability. I represent issues of people with disabilities in the City Council as a member of Disability Focus Group. I'm a scout leader and cooperate with Polish Community Center, and I run there a workshop, free workshop for children. So I'm a person who just want to help my community parents to raise their children as independent adults, and I would like to create a better future from people who live in my area, and I would like to bring my experience as a psychologist, as a person who is very involved in community, and as some experts in some fields. So that's my goal, and I would like to achieve it. And I strongly believe that this is a process. We start something today, or we start some discussion, but it has to take some time, and I am glad that I cooperated with Forum Polonia. I was involved in projects here at Home Vote, so I did a lot, and I would like to do much more for Polish community and my community. Thank you.
I'm Eoin Broinn. I'm a Sinn Féin councillor in Clondalkin in Dublin Midwest. I've been a Sinn Féin activist for almost 20 years. Originally from Dublin, I lived in Belfast for 11 of those and was a city councillor there. And I also work as a Dáil advisor on economic policy and European affairs.
Brilliant. So just let you know that today's meeting we envisaged more as an open debate, as we said before, okay? So it's not really about who is the best, because we know that you are all great, but you are here to inspire the others, and especially, like, no offense, Eoin, especially the migrant people, you know, that we want to, and you know, we want you to be inspirational for the others. And some of our questions were to do with, you know, why are you running as an independent candidate? And obviously, for those of you who are members of the party, it would be the opposite. You know, why have I decided to run as part of a political party? Like, not necessarily going into why this party. It's more the idea of why to go independent, why say why to go for the party. So I guess that's my first question.
Okay, so
Yeah, feel free to answer. Yes, not necessarily in order.
I decided to run as independent, as I believe that the councillor role is some kind of more than it's more public service rather than pure politics, and I believe if the independence allows me to do my job objectively and focus only on local issues, not involving any other like political business.
Okay. I simply have no party affiliation so far, and I think just someone said before, this is the election of independence, and I think the people have enough of some parties as well over here in Ireland, which is independent candidates might bring the difference, which I will try to make if I'm elected.
Just to lead off that, I'm not sure if I pronounced your name Sepik. Is it
Rafał.
Yes. I remember that. So yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think that independents are well placed in a city council, particularly to make good, positive reforms to policy. And I'm not talking political policy. I'm actually mainly talking economic and social policy, more community enterprises, more community employment, and more Irish businesses being started up. So that's why I'm running independently, because I think it's great. I wish Fine Gael have more candidates like Nadine. It's not just a box ticking exercise. It really shows that no matter where you're from or what your background is, that you don't have to be, you know, white, male, Irish, over 40, whatever, to make a difference. The last point I'll make just on that is I do think councillors who are in political parties, particularly political parties like Labour and Fine Gael that are in government, are beholden at multiple levels to the party line and to the national policy line, which I think is unhelpful at local level.
I run as an independent candidate because I don't identify myself with any political party ideology. I'm a social activist, so I strongly believe that on the local level we have to solve some problems, and this is crucial. And I don't think so that 2% of people who are the members of the in the population who are the members of the party can decide about our issue. I don't agree with it, and I think that no matter what background we have, what nationality we are, or we are members of party or not, we have the same problems in our area, and we have to cooperate together to solve it. And this is the most important for me. Get more information about the issue, solve the problems, and act together. And I think as an independent, I have a great response from community and build a great network. It is crucial. If you have a great network in your community, you cooperate with many organizations, with few communities, migrants communities, and you are involved in many and know about many issues, you can achieve much more rather than people who are are party members, because they have got the network, but only on the party, I think. That's my point of view.
I'm running Fine Gael, obviously, in this area, and I joined Fine Gael in 2009. It was young Fine Gael at the time, so it's a great party, I think. I saw it as a progressive, dynamic party of hard-working people, and I'm delighted to represent Fine Gael. So why did I put myself forward, I suppose? Why am I running is because as a business person, I think there's greater support for local businesses. We need that. We need to make sure that there's more jobs created. How can we create more jobs if there's more startup businesses and more support for them? And as a mother and a woman, I think that they're definitely, we need to develop greener spaces, more parks, playgrounds for kids, and we need to focus and concentrate on this safety and security in our city as well.
But why, sorry to disturb you, why, the question is really why the party and not as an independent?
Well,
do you not think they can do it as independent candidates?
Yes. Well, I'm a member of Gael since 2009, so it wouldn't be right for me to, you know, I'm delighted to represent Gael.
But back then, did you consider running as independent?
No, back then I always was interested in politics and always wanted to get involved, and I was looking to join the party, so Gael was the party I joined.
I think that my decision about running as an independent candidate was strictly related to my independence of thinking and my personality. It was deciding about everything because during almost all my life I was always self-employed. I created my own jobs. I was doing so many different things. Maybe being fun for you, but for 8 years I had a dating company, and for 15 years I was a publisher of science books, for example. And for a few years I worked as an insurance agent for global companies like Zurich and Generali. And so the main reason was I think independence in thinking. But I tried to run, not to run, but to make any connections with Labour Party here, and I was a member of Labour Party for the last 3 years. And a little over half a year ago, in November, Labour tried to replace one councillor in the Dublin City Council. And because I was involved in matters of this party, and I helped in general election for Roisin Shortall, really recognized TD. She's independent now.
She's a member of the Labour Party.
And I tried to run in this replacement. I would like to come in details. Like they didn't, didn't allow me to run in this competition, I would say. They eliminated me without any struggle, I would say.
Okay. But not to be going against any of the parties, okay? It's more, maybe Eoin, you're part of the party, and you've always been, have you? So yes. Why would you advise to go, or do you see the trend of people actually going towards independent? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 7 independent, yeah? So what's the trend? And Lech is saying that, you know, he found some difficulties that, so as a party member, well, that's probably be the next question, so first.
To answer the first question,
yeah,
you can't win the All-Ireland on your own. And politics is a little bit like sport. It's a team game. And no politician who's elected can go into any institution and remain completely isolated and achieve the things they want, irrespective of their political beliefs. So for me, first of all, there's a party I like, there's a party I feel comfortable in. I don't agree with everything. I would be seen as somebody who would be quite independent-minded inside the party. But there's a trade-off, which is there are times the party agrees positions which I don't completely agree with. And I'm happy along to go with those because they've been democratically decided within the party. The trade-off, however, is when the party agrees with something I agree with, we have much greater strength because of the numbers. But even for independents, I mean, I'm in an alliance in South Dublin County Council, Sinn Fein, Labour, and some progressive independents. We form a policy-based alliance as to how the council's budgets should be framed. So even the independents, where they want to have influence, they have to form some kind of an alliance. So it's not that I would put down independence. I think if people don't feel comfortable in parties, stand as independent, at least get involved. But nobody actually ends up being an independent in the end, other than if they remain completely isolated. They have to be involved in some kind of alliance, whether it's a technical group in the Dáil or the alliance that we have with the independents and Labour in South Dublin County Council.
Before maybe we open the floor to the public, I'd like to ask you about engaging, especially the migrant communities, but not only. I know some of you have been very active in the field of reaching out, not only for votes, but to to engage migrants. How would you describe your experience with trying to engage migrant communities to get registered to vote and to get involved anyway? And what would you say are the most effective ways of doing that?
Like maybe to
Yeah.
my Polish perspective. I was a migrant. I lived in America for 6 years. I find it interesting that because of the Irish American electorate, Irish people and Irish American people are very much listened to in America, even if they don't have voting rights. And I would like to see a similar kinship. I don't think we have to get too far into formal bilateral relationships, but I think I've worked with a lot of Polish people in several jobs, and I think Poland and Ireland have very strong connections, and I'd like to see those grow and maintained. So I think, you know, as a migrant, as a former migrant, and now living in Dublin, perhaps because I went back to study at a later age and so on, a lot of my friends have been from other countries. I didn't particularly plan that, but I used to volunteer in Exchange Dublin, which was until recently open, and it's like an all ages space where a lot of students come forward as college students. So I've just happened to run into a lot of people from other countries in Dublin while re-finding my own feet in Dublin. So I don't know if that adds up to some kind of professional qualification or anything, but I think I do have insights there that other Irish people might not have.
To be noted.
Maybe I understand.
Yeah.
You know, I was very engaged in project here at home vote, and even my daughter was encouraging people to vote in local election, running outside the church with leaflets. So I know that she was looking at what I'm doing, and she copied my behavior. Yes, I really care about our community, and I know that people from Poland don't be aware of voting rights. It was, even for me, when I discovered that I can vote in local election, I was very surprised. So there was no message, yes, to the migrant community that we can be engaged, can vote in local and European election. I remember that we started a campaign in October when we, with Rafael, went for 1 week and finished a course about government, Irish government and election. And Broinn was a person who was a trainer of the workshop about campaign then. And we had only 2 months to encourage people to vote in local election in simple legislation. So we did a huge work, really, and we were so engaging, but people don't know about this possibility. They don't feel that they are at home. They have children, they send the children to school, and they are working here very hard, but they are not engaged in community. And during this discussion I was wondering how to show that everybody can be engaged in community, because I think that it is the first step to change our way of thinking about the community life, how it's look like. And yes, the first reason is no information about voting rights. This information was sent in English. We have a barrier in communication. I know many people who are living here for 8-10 years, and they can't speak fluent. So we tried to break this barrier during our campaign. Vote You At Home, translating everything, documents, forms into Polish. So yeah, maybe others, my friends.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. We had to organize ourselves by ourselves. We got some help, but basically we did, all of us. I was participating in online promotions in our newspaper, and I had a huge amount of people reading these articles from statistics I could see. About registration, about the voting rights and so on. But when I was speaking to people on the streets, really in this belief. Do I really have the rights to vote over here?
What councillor do?
Yes.
Yes. How can I impact it on?
If Irish government and local government could help in the future, I mean, we already did help over from September till now. But if that could be before that, over all these 10 years, it would be more helpful. But I'm not complaining now, because now we have everything. Now we have to add our work to that, to make it as it is right now over here.
Yes.
I think there's just, there are ways of engaging with communities, and I think there's a combination of things. There's actual, I know Agnieszka is doing a lot of work, and I've seen it when she goes in and interacts with communities, and it's not only Polish, there's a lot of Estonian Russians living here and building their lives here, raising their kids, sending them to school, working very hard, all this. I think media presence is very important, and all the, online presence is very important. All those community Facebook pages, if we all contribute to that and have the big campaign, that will work. People will start finding out and engaging and so on.
Yes, there was discussion in media. I remember the debate in RTA about how to show diversity Ireland in media, and for me it was amazing discussion because yes, I don't watch television at all. Only in internet some debate, but I know that there is no diversity voice in the radio. There is different accent, and there is no black person in. I have to say it. Yeah? It's true. There is no black person in RT News. We have to show how Ireland looks like, and then we will engage people to be a part of this community. And then they will think that, oh my goodness, I live here, I'm the part of this community, I have the right to vote and I will vote. So it is a process, as you see. And we have to start it and do what we started.
Yeah.
Just, I suppose, to raise some thoughts about a politician and the difficulties a politician would have in the issue of engagement. So I've run 3 election campaigns in my own constituency, a general, a presidential and our local campaign. And like I was saying at the start, we would have higher than average percentages from a range of communities. But what's also interesting about the constituency, and I presume it's true across the state, is that migrants are by and large concentrated in the poorer quality private rental accommodation. So if you look at, for example, Dublin Midwest, Clondalkin and Lucan, you'll have 3 different kind of residential areas. You'll have affluent areas, long-standing middle class, almost exclusively white Irish. You'll have large traditional social housing estates, again, poor traditional white Irish. And then you'll have these private estates, particularly in South Lucan and parts of Southwest Clondalkin. And in some of those estates, 40% or more of the people who live there weren't born on the island. And that's an experience we deal with. So first of all, and you could be dealing with 20 nationalities. So there isn't a migrant community. So there I am sitting in my campaign headquarters working out what I'm going to do. I'm saying, okay, so how do I engage with these people? Do I produce literature in 20 languages? Do I choose the languages of the larger populations and then alienate and upset all of the other people? How do I get access to the resources of people who can translate the material? When I go and engage with people on the door, language is a real barrier. So just the other day I was in an estate, Castlegrange. Probably about 40% of the population were born on the island. Again, from a range of nationalities. Almost all of the non-Irish citizen houses, we call that, language was a real barrier on the door. But also there's a cultural differences. It goes back to the point I was saying at the start. Who's this oddball calling up the door? What does he want to know? How am I going to vote for it? Do you know what I mean? And of course I have no ability to decide, is that the right way to approach somebody, the wrong way? And then it throws up the challenge, so should I just deal with the community-based organisations? And of course for the African communities, they're usually religious faith-based. For the Muslim communities, the Muslim Centre. For the various Europeans, I get the sense that you have small clusters of friends and families as opposed to an organised community. So for a politician who's trying to win an election and you're trying to do your best, they're real barriers that are out there. They're not reasons not to do stuff, but they're part of your dilemma. And then the other thing is, and I suppose it goes back to the point I'm making at the start, how much of these issues are migrant related or socioeconomic and class related. So the difficulties, for example, when I go into Castle Grange, actually, other than language, most people in that estate don't vote. Most people in that estate don't participate. You're right, there's no black faces on Irish news, but nor are there traveller faces, unless it's a story about crime and we're racially stereotyping travellers. There are almost no working class voices on our national radio. I lived in Belfast for 11 years, and you would hear a diversity of accents right across the board. It is very, very difficult to hear diversity even within the traditional Irish community. So I think you're right, it is about exploring that, but it's also about saying, and this is why I think Brian's point is so important, how do parties centrally take the decision at the top and then resource the parties locally to be able to do the stuff that I've just outlined is difficult for us to do. And until that happens, and again, until the national broadcaster at the top takes the same kind of decision to have that diversity, it's always going to be an uphill battle for anybody on the ground who wants to try and engage.
I'm still thinking, because it was one of the questions that I wanted to ask, how to change the image of a politician into positive, because during my canvassing I get feedback that people would like to see new faces. They support independence candidates because they just know how the situation looks like in Ireland. And I just wondering how we can change this image. No, I don't want to, I don't know if I am a politician or a social activist. And I think that on the local level, social activist is responsible for people's needs. But they call me a politician. So, I don't know how to respond and how we can work to change this image. Maybe politicians should be meaning a bit the same like social activists, work for people. How to achieve it? I don't know. You have similar experience during canvassing?
Exactly. Maybe that should be our next question. When you're canvassing, and you obviously meet Owen, you shared your experience here. You meet migrants and you meet Irish people, and I'll be interested in knowing how do they react to you, and do they react differently if you are Irish, or do they react differently if you are non-Irish? If you could tell us something about your experience.
Yeah, so maybe...
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more...
Okay, no, so...
No, do you? Well, very positive. I've been canvassing since January we started, so response is really, really good. I haven't had any really bad experience or anything like that. It's quite good. I suppose just to answer your question, in my own opinion, I think we are politicians, even though that's what, we're trying to be part of the political system, I suppose, local government. So yes, I think we are. That's my personal opinion. So yeah.
Okay, so yes, I do agree with Nadine. There's like local politics, so it is kind of politics, right? And bringing back the conversation with the panel, and I don't want to defend, or maybe I want to defend the political parties and the small interest in migrants, that there were, those officers appointed, and as you said, it didn't work out, so I'm not surprised there's such a small interest. And as Nadine said, that the parties should, bring this message across, and I believe, as Professor Fein said, that it should be built over the time. So I'm not surprised, but maybe it's something worth to work out, in the next years, because from my experience, I was doing quite heavy registration campaign myself in my constituency, where it's like over 50% of migrants, and I did register Polish people, but I was registering as well any other migrants, so I didn't pick up only Polish people. I was just registering everyone, all migrants living there, and they were like there was lack of awareness, definitely, and the biggest problem in this area was that people unfortunately change address very often. So people which been registered last year, when I came back this year and wanted to ask them for vote, they are simply not living there anymore. Either they move abroad or they just change address to different constituency. So over 50% of those people unfortunately move out. But yet I believe that that this kind of campaigns, like Vote You're at Home, might succeed, and I believe will succeed. It just, this has to be built up over the time, and definitely we have to learn on experience. So us guys from the program was encouraging that even if we lose, although I hope we don't lose, but even though we should, you know, in 5 years we should build up our position and try again and build up on our experience and then succeed in another 5 years. So yeah, I think that's the point.
Yeah, I totally agree with Rafał. It is a process. We have to work hard for next years. But yes, I registered people on Ballymun with Ballymun Intercultural Group members. I registered for Polonia in every place in Dublin. And during canvassing, I have a very interesting response because people first, when they see me in front of the door, they are very surprised that I can. When they read my leaflets, they can't spell my name because it's very difficult for them, and they ask how to pronounce it. So for me, the most important is to send a message to the community that yes, there is a Polish girl, she's involved in community, and she just asks you for number one. And it's great experience for me. But I was talking with boys because I can say that there was no racism during my canvassing. There is no racism during my canvassing experience. No, I had few situations that show me that I come from Poland. For example, I don't know if I shouldn't say it or, but yeah, I should say it. On one of my posters, somebody wrote, "Go home." So I am in touch with Mehmet, and even today, this is a candidate, migrant candidate too, from People Before Profit. And today he published the information that one of his poster was damaged. And I know that I am very strong, and I have a very good campaign in social media. I get few tweets that I am a candidate from Polish ghetto. So I don't agree with it, and I have to send a message to the Irish community that there are some people who don't want to see us as a part of this community. But we still fight with it. We are very active, and we just want to show that we want to change the stereotype thinking about the Polish community. We are not workers, we are not clients of social welfare. We are the people who have families, our children are raised, we raise our children, they play with other children, and we are part of this community. And the most important for me to send a message that we are the part of the community. And I ask you for trust and vote.
In democracy, everyone is entitled to his opinion, you know what I mean? So we have to accept those people as well. That's democracy.
Yeah, I think that's, thanks God, that's a minority who are damaging this poster and so on. And every country has that kind of minorities, hooligans, vandals, and right-wing nationalists who don't support integration.
Maybe it is a good
I
response
wouldn't
that
make a
people
big
see
deal out of
me
this
as
because it's not majority of Irish people who are well integrated in all European Union. And I'm studying business myself in the National College of Ireland. And, in my studies, the most important things are the multinationals who are setting up the companies over here in Docklands areas, in the IFSC. It's a majority of the capital investment is from America right now. It's a well-integrated country, the best in Europe.
Yeah,
Can I just say that the posters are being vandalized for anybody really? I don't think it's, I don't know.